It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning
from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, Agriculture Ministry records drop in GDP contribution. South Korean operator of luxury hotel Sheila Group to set up in Fiji. Plant a tree for the future. Fiji celebrates International Day of Forest by planting hundreds of trees. Good evening, I'm Akosita Tale and this is FBC News. First up tonight, a 52-year-old farmer has died after he was attacked by his cow. The incident happened at Varandolin Bar when the old man went to tend to the cow in his farm. He was rushed to the Bar hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. A drop in Ministry of Agriculture's contribution to the country's gross domestic product is a primary concern. Agriculture Minister Inia Seriratu highlights their strategies in place to increase the ministry's contribution. Sakyusa Naivua reports.
From a high of 20% in the 1990s, the contribution of agriculture to the gross domestic product dropped to 9.3% in 2013. Agriculture Minister Inia Seriratu told FBC News there are plans to reverse this trend.
We want to increase our contribution to GDP. It all sounds good, but we have first to do some analysis. We have to make some investigations into the contributing factors to our low contribution, and of course the decreasing interest in agriculture participation.
A major cause to the drop in agriculture's contribution to the GDP is land issues, with farmers not wanting to commit to investment and production when there is uncertainty in land.
We need to shift from subsistence into the semi-commercial and of course commercial level. That needs technology, that also needs new farming practices and most importantly farm management and of course mechanization as well.
Seriratu says with new policy put in place, more land is becoming available now. The Agriculture Ministry is urging farmers to operate at the commercial level to produce more product. Sakyusa Naivua, FBC News.
In a first for Fiji, local tourism venture Safari Development in Vundalautoka is to partner with the Hotel Sheila Group, a luxury operator from South Korea. Managing Director Mati Trebish says if the deal goes through, it will mean up to 400 new jobs and 200 more rooms. Eleanor Turangevu reports.
It's an agreement that will literally change the landscape here and for the tourism sector in Fiji. The owners of Sapphire Development is venturing into high-end luxury accommodation.
Looking at construction costs, a 200-room resort, will probably at that quality of luxury, we're looking at close to $4,000 per square meter. So we're looking anywhere between $100 to $120 million development. And this is kind of like, of course, it's a ballpark figure, and we're looking at anywhere between 300 to 400 jobs.
The Sheila Group, a South Korean operator of luxury hotels, represents a growing niche in the Asian market. Last week, an executive from the company met with Trebish and Fiji's ambassador to Korea, Philemon Kao.
This is very big for Fiji. What's going to happen is, Sheila is definitely considering moving into the South Pacific with their luxury brand. The Sheila Resorts, is uber luxury. It oozes luxury here in Asia. And we've approached them with the help of the Fiji embassy here in Seoul.
Trebish says while they wait for an official agreement, construction on the property is ready to be rolled out.
The property is 120 acres. So the ridgetop portion of it will be developed. It's already being developed into a luxury living community. We have 3 luxury villas right now, and by the end of the year we'll start another 4 of them, and lots are up for sale.
If all goes according to plan, Trabesh says construction could start as early as the end of this year. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Raising awareness on the importance of our forests must be coupled with concrete action on the ground, says Minister for Forests Oceana Ngamu. International Day of Forests was celebrated at Nanukulo village in Rai yesterday with the planting of 100 of trees. Eleanor Turangaivu again with this report.
The central role that forests freely play in supporting national development and sustaining livelihood must be celebrated, says the Minister for Forests Oceana Ngamu. He says ecosystem services that forests provide are always taken for granted.
A study was undertaken in 1994 to try and value Fiji's ecosystem. Forests and mangroves contributes a total value of over $543.7 million annually in terms of ecosystem services. These figures are never appreciated and not accounted for in our national books for various reasons.
The minister says Fiji is endowed with extensive forest resources that provide important environmental, social and economic benefits and should be maintained.
We are fortunate that over half of our total landmass, 58%, is still covered with forest, which are home to at least 1,518 species of vesicular plants, of which 50.1% are endemic to Fiji. The wise use of these resources is essential if their multiple values are to be maintained for the benefit of future generations.
Ngamu challenged those present at the celebration to acknowledge the vital role of forests and pledged to work together to protect and sustainably manage forests for ourselves and the future generation.
Therefore, urge everyone to commit themselves to reducing deforestation, preventing forest degradation, and promoting sustainable livelihoods through forest smart actions that address resilience, adaptation and mitigation issues.
$600,000 is allocated by government for reforestation and forest protection activities for this year. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, Save the Children Fiji appeals for help for children affected by tropical cyclone Pam in Vanuatu.
बॉलीवुड हीरो पंती रे। Get this.
हीरो सपना दिखेला बंद करो।
क्या करूं यार, सबको आती नहीं, मेरी जाती नहीं।
मिर्ची मस्त मॉर्निंग में हूँ अश्विन सिंह।
हाय मैं हूँ काजल।
शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
6 AM to 9 AM
मिर्ची FM, it's hot.
Welcome back, this is FBC News. Fiji Broadcasting Corporation has lodged a police complaint against Suva lawyer Barbara Malimali after she threatened to assault one of our journalists at the Lautoka High Court. Malimali, who was representing an Australian man convicted for smuggling drugs into the country, became abusive following the sentencing last Wednesday. She got extremely annoyed when FBC was filming her client.
Sorry, I'm asking you to please leave him alone. You're being very, very intrusive. What TV station are you from? Because you guys are a really, really rude bunch. So please stop. Yes, you want to record me telling you off. Yes, you can record me. This is rude what you're doing and very intrusive. And you're in my face. Okay, I'm going to punch him, so I better go, eh?
The matter is now being investigated by police. According to the law, FBC is allowed to film her client or anyone else outside of court. FBC was fulfilling its responsibility of informing the public by covering the story. The list of the final recipients of Government Small and Medium Enterprises or SME Small Business Grant will be published by April 13 in the newspapers. Government received thousands of applications for the grant from various SMEs, including the areas of farming, beekeeping, canteens, fishing, market vendors, poultry farming, bakeries and roadside stalls, to name a few. Alan Stoltz reports.
The government has set aside $1 million for this grant. There will be 1,000 recipients who will get $1,000 each, and Trade Minister Faiz Koya says they have received an overwhelming response in the number of applications that have come through from across the country.
With this scheme, we are trying to inculcate a culture of entrepreneurship and for them to aim for long-term sustainability that will in future enable them to access further business finance, thus establishing a platform for equal business opportunities for all.
In 2013, the SME sector contributed around 12% to Fiji's gross domestic production. That's valued roughly around $800 million. The minister was responding to a question posed in Parliament by Bridge Lal on when the names of the successful applicants for the grant will be published.
The ministry is actually working with the FDB, Fiji Development Bank, to facilitate the disbursement of this grant. Madam Speaker, the FDB was the logical partner for government because of the extensive outreach in the communities, especially in rural Fiji.
The minister has announced that the successful applicants can expect to receive their funding by the 17th of April this year. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Save the Children Fiji is asking for everyone to help out in their disaster appeal for children in Vanuatu who have been affected by tropical cyclone Pam. Jackie Spade has more.
Severe tropical cyclone Pam is regarded as the worst natural disaster in the history of Vanuatu and the deadliest cyclone in the South Pacific since Cyclone Evan in 2012. Thousands are now homeless and schools have been forced to close indefinitely, either because they were damaged or are being used as evacuation centres. Save the Children Fiji, in coordination with Save the Children Vanuatu, hopes to help the children of Vanuatu through their disaster appeal by creating a child-friendly space within the evacuation centres.
And in these evacuation centres, we've got child-friendly spaces. And what that looks like is that there's a routine, in terms of you can register your child here for the day, where they ensure that they get meals, that they have some form of schooling, there's play, but that it is in a safe space, and that allows for adults to do what they need to do to ensure that their families get back on their feet.
This will only be possible through public donations made to their disaster appeal account with ANZ Bank. Donations made will also be going towards water sanitation kits needed by thousands of children.
$10 allows us to buy what we call a wash kit. It's a water and sanitation kit which contains soap, water containers, purification tablets, water,
Right now, the lives of more than 60,000 children in Vanuatu have been directly affected due to the Cyclone Pam disaster. Jackie Spate, FBC News.
In our successful Fijian segment tonight, we will feature Northern Air Services and its owner, Ranjesh Sen. Ritika Pratap has the story.
Captain Ranjesh Sen's family launched Northern Air Services as a family business after seeing an opportunity for additional airline services in various sectors and neglected areas around Fiji. Like most other successful Fijian businessmen, Captain Sen also struggled, coming from a middle-class family. However, the dream to pursue a career in aviation industry has brought him a long way.
Father was a truck driver initially. He was driving trucks and he was cutting sugarcane for somebody else. And he was working for somebody else, and my mom was a tailor. She still does tailoring, and they've gone through some hard times. Eventually my father ended up working for Fiji Electricity Authority as a shift operator, and then followed by his own taxi. He had a taxi that he actually used to drive, and together with my mother to pay for my flying.
Captain Ranjesh Sen began his flying career in 1984 and claims he was not treated fairly when compared to other pilots, most of who were expatriates.
I started flying for Don Collingwood in Sunflower. At that time, I was treated as just another pilot, and not even a pilot, just an ordinary hawker. And I, coming back from New Zealand and doing that course and being not very many locals, one of the few, I still felt that I was treated as if I was in the indentured labor in my own country. And I was paid 90 cents an hour, and 90 cents an hour, and I was working 3 hours a day. For $2.70 a day, it was barely impossible for me to survive.
Captain Sen made up his mind back in 1984 that one day he will have his own airline and serve the people of the North. 12 years later, in 2006, he bought his first aircraft. Today, Northern Air has 3 aircrafts and provides enormous services to the tourism industry in the division, as well as help in evacuating sickly patients from outer islands with its charter flights.
We are going to do charters anywhere within Fiji, and we want to go abroad as well in form of charters. So for your weddings, funerals, we are going to be available for charters. We will also try to introduce service from here to Taveuni as well, so that gives people of Taveuni an interest to come to Lambasa and get their work done.
Captain Sen, who was born and bred in Waingili, Lambasa, says with the family aspiration and long-term dream of owning an airline to provide services to the people of the North, the investment came at an opportune time. The company, after 2 years of serving locals with charter services, secured a domestic route license to operate. Captain Sen says this was made possible through government's Look North policy.
I just don't want people to say it's a Look North policy and do nothing about it. Look North policy must have meaning. It has a policy. It must be implemented. And I'm totally supporting Look North policy, and I'm from the North, and I will totally support it, and I'll support it all the way. But people must also realize, together with our urge the government to please keep supporting the way you have been supporting the Look North policy. We want more developments in the Northern Division. We want more work structure to be created in the Northern Division.
The success of any business lies with its services and support from customers, as is the case with Northern Air Services.
If Northerners do support us, the way they are supporting us right now, you can expect more than just one service that we're doing a day. We are going to give them 3 services a day. That's what we want to give them, is a morning, midday and afternoon. And if the demand is there, why not? I'll keep going. I'll keep running like a taxi.
The airline has offices in all airports for efficient and convenient services with customers. Yesterday, the company opened its new office in Lambasa town.
My office locations are here. Right now, we have got one at the airport in Nasuri, one at every airport. And now, this is the first time we're putting a face in Vanuatu in the Northern Division in the town. And we are optimistic that this will make a difference to Northern Air and the people of Vanuatu and the Northern Division. We're here to support you. We're here to look after you.
Northern Air currently provides services to Levuka, Savu-Savu, Taveuni, Lambasa, Ngau, Onoilao, Rotuma and Moala. Work is underway in increasing some of its flights. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Coming up on FBC Sports, Fiji Warriors fired up for World Rugby Pacific Challenge Final. And Pio Tuai to hit form in Hong Kong.
Yoni borong tu main Radio Fiji 1 totoka tunan raki na ngona ni ko ni takini yoni nando pa tu main nang ngona go me do ben na ruana no go pinga rabi na single ni ko Ni sambula vinaka, oya wana ikamana langi, na makia na vimataka, maina ziwa kina rua, na visinga levo, maina moniti kina warumbuka, na Radio Fiji 1, na ndome viti wongani vianyadu.
Welcome back, this is FBC Sports. The devastating news of the death of Telecom Fiji Warriors prop Yosefo Tambalala will only add fuel to the side's quest to win the World Rugby Pacific Challenge final tomorrow. The team held their captain's run yesterday afternoon at the ANZ Stadium minus one of their key players. The Warriors determined to give their level best to win the tournament in honor of their fallen teammate. Chalendo Dakadaka has more.
As news of Yosefo Tambalala's death slowly sunk in over the past 24 hours, his teammates made a brave effort to continue the fight to win the Pacific Challenge title. The team was scheduled to have its captain's run yesterday morning, but this was delayed until 5 p.m. to let the players recover from the shock.
A difficult morning. We've had discussions with the boys. We've had called in experts who've been able to come in and address the psychological impacts of this traumatic morning.
This is the first time a player has died while on national duties with the Fiji Rugby Union. Bele, as he was commonly known, proved himself as a leading example in the Warriors camp, on and off the field.
This is one of the most outstanding players in all the team engagements, in all the team timings. He will be the one that will always be there first, especially in his punctuality. Very willing to help with the management, and I can still remember in the second game in which he was not selected, there was nothing. There was no change in his attitude. So that is something that we have really learned from him.
The players have gained even more motivation from the sudden loss heading into the final tomorrow.
Of course, we've tried our best, and I think, and you can also see at the background here, you will realize that the boys are normal, and I know they will do this because of him.
As expected, the Warriors will be wearing black armbands together with the alternative black jersey in honor of Mbele when they face the Argentina Pampers. Talento Dakavak, FBC Sports.
Vodafone Fiji Sevens forward Pio Tuwai says he will not let the fans down when the Hong Kong Sevens gets underway next weekend. The 32-year-old surprised many by being named in the 12-member squad that was announced last Friday and says he is ready to prove his worth at the Mecca of Sevens. Chalendo Dakadaka reports.
Pio Tuwai only returned to the country from Sri Lanka last month after completing a 3-month playing contract, a decision he made last year to support his family financially. The fleet-footed giant was chosen ahead of Manueli Langai, William Mata and Sitibeni Wanga in the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side, 3 key players that helped Fiji win the Las Vegas title. He credits his fellow teammates for pushing him to the limit during the rigorous 2-week training camp.
I thank them and thank for the boys for pushing me up during the training. And, I know 2 weeks is very hard, but I work hard in the field last 2 weeks. I thank them for the support, for encouraging me to work hard in the field. But I know I haven't got too much fitness to get back to the team. But I'm happy for them to support me and encourage me to work hard during this 2 passes.
Coach Ben Ryan is eager to see what Tuwai has to offer as he has made incredible leaps to overcome fitness issues.
We all know what Pio brings in attack, and that wasn't what he had to convince me about. It was more his defence and his fitness. Now, he's played a week at Borneo Sevens in the team that won that title. He then went to Marist and played a full tournament there, and he's had 2 hard weeks of training with us, and he's managed it all. He hasn't broken down. We've played him in some tough training sessions and he's come out really well.
Fiji Sevens fans can only wait with anticipation to see what Tuwai will bring to the team, as his skills have featured so prominently in highlight reels. Talento Dakavak, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, World Rugby has announced that the South African Sevens, which is usually held at Port Elizabeth, will now be staged at Cape Town for the next 4 years. Earlier this year, the governing body made similar changes to venues, with Australia's Sevens usually held in Gold Coast, moving to Sydney from next season. The series will now be moved up to 10 legs from next season, with the inclusion of the Vancouver Sevens in Canada. Edwin Shyam scored the lone goal for Lambasa as they ended Nandi's unbeaten run with a 1-0 win last night in the Rewa Galaxy Premier League. Shyam benefited from a deflected shot of a Nandi defender to score in the first minute of the match.
On towards the broadcast touchline side, Penernio for Lambasa. Infield quickly for Gabrieli. Gabrieli Matanasinga, Ashnil Raju, the other under 20. Gabrieli sneaks it in. Watch out for this player throughout this game here. He certainly has Edwin Sharp captain and deflected off Ilamota Matese. And Lambasa have opened the account here.
Lambasa played its second match of the weekend today and lost to Nandronga 2-1 while Rewa defeated Ba 1-0. Athletics Fiji has voted in a new committee that will lead the sporting body for the next 4 years. With a busy schedule ahead, the new committee features prominent figures in the local athletic fraternity, with Joe Roden Sr. elected as president. A new constitution was passed by the General Assembly and has been endorsed by the International Association of Athletic Federations. New Zealand's Martin Guptill made the highest score in Cricket World Cup history with 237 not out against West Indies to send his team into the semi-finals. His 163-ball innings in Wellington featured 11 sixes and 24 fours and beat the 215 made by West Indies' Chris Gayle earlier in the tournament. Guptill hit 137 from his last 52 balls to help his side post 393 for 6. The Black Caps will now face South Africa in the semi-finals on Tuesday, while defending champions India meets Australia on Thursday. Generally, fine weather was experienced over Fiji today. Savu was the hottest place today, hitting 33 on the temperature chart. Suva the coolest with 30 degrees. Tomorrow, fine weather should prevail over most places except for Suva and Savu where there will be some showers. Further outlook, fine apart from brief showers about the eastern and interior parts of the larger islands. Recapping our main stories, Agriculture Ministry records drop in GDP contribution, South Korean operator of luxury hotel Sheila Group to set up in Fiji, and Fiji celebrates International Day of Forest by planting hundreds of trees. This week's poll question, we are again asking, should Pio Tuai play for Fiji in the Hong Kong Sevens? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizensize@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all from FBC News for tonight. I'll be back on Saturday, so until then, have a safe and productive week.